First one up, The Annals of Imperial Rome by Cornelius Tacitus. With some clowns. There's another movement out there, dude, called the Black Atheist Movement down in Atlanta. The God Killer, whatever you talking about. But anyway, y'all just look it up. The Annals of Imperial Rome by Cornelius Tacitus. Who was a Roman senator? You got a light over there? Yeah, he got one. The Annals of Imperial Rome by Cornelius Tacitus. Annals mean records. Rome was running the world during the time of the historical Messiah, who you read in your Bible is Jesus the Christ, Yahushua of Nazareth. He was a Hebrew. He had a Hebrew name, for y'all that don't know. Read Acts 26:14. Paul's going over his account of being converted to following Christ, and he said the Lord spoke unto him in the Hebrew language. They were speaking Hebrew. You know what I'm saying? The language of our forefathers. Now, right here, this is Imperial Rome chronicles the history of the Roman Empire from the reign of Tiberius beginning in 14 AD to the reign of Nero ending in 66 AD. This is 300 years before Council of Nicaea, man, in which y'all claim he was invented. So we shouldn't be able to go into the records of Rome and find anything about a Christ or any of his followers, being he wouldn't be invented off a spaghetti vision until 300 years later. See how simple and base these arguments are, man. You feel me? If you don't do the research, you get caught up in this and you be thinking these men have points, man. Spaghetti, Seti, and Pilati ain't got a point, man. None. Alright? It says the Annals of Imperial Rome is a detailed, first-hand account of the early Roman Empire. Presented in this volume is the classic translation of Alfred John Church and William Jackson Broad Real. Now on this page right here, my brother Zor, you can read this right here. Matter of fact, I'll read it. Just pull the scriptures that we're going to read for. Alright, right here, this page 216. And them little cats were trying to comment this video we did months ago. Oh, that book's been debunked. And they don't ever come with no proof to even show. You feel me? But we got more, so all these books been debunked, huh? Alright, man, right here. This is page 216, and this is during the reign of Nero Caesar. It says, consequently, Nero just burnt Rome and blamed it on the Christians, and the Christians were Israelites that followed Christ. We can get that. That's all in the Acts. Alright? So, a lot of us was living in Rome. Paul was an Israelite, but he was living in Rome, and he was mistaken for an Egyptian. That's Acts 21:38 on down. He said, I'm a Jew. They said, oh, we thought you was an Egyptian. How is Jews being mistaken for Egyptians? They're men of color. That's easy. It's easy work, man. All right, page 216. Consequently, to get rid of the report, Nero fastened the guilt and inflicted the most exquisite tortures on a class hated for their abominations, called Christians by the populace. So chop one, this Roman senator is calling the ones that follow Christ an abomination. He's not pro-Christ, in other words. Right, grab Acts 11:26 real quick. We were first called Christian by outsiders. The Messiah never called us Christian. The Father never called us Christian. We were called there by outsiders because they were saying they are followers of the anointing. Some say it was derogatorily used, you know, whatever. But even Peter say, you know, if you suffer as a Christian, ain't no thing, man. Because he was suffering for following the true Messiah, the Christ. And he is not Serapis. That's another argument. The clown with the flower pot on his head. You try to say that's Christ.
Acts 11:26.
Yeah.
And when he had found him, he brought him unto Antioch. And it came to pass that a whole year they had assembled themselves with the church and taught much people. And the disciples were called Christians first in Antioch.
See, first called Christian in Antioch, which is in Syria. Showing you Israelites were living in Syria. We were first called Christian by outsiders, man. That wasn't nothing that was put on us. But if you suffer as one of them, remember, Christian just means Christ's follower. So, according to the Bible, yeah, I'm a Christian, but I'm not a follower of the religion of Catholicism or Christian insanity that you see in church. Me and Creflo Dollar have nothing in common, in other words. Nothing. All right? So, it said called Christians by the populace. Christus, from whom the name had its origin, suffered the extreme penalty during the reign of Tiberius at the hands of one of our procreators, Pontius Pilatus. Let's grab John chapter 18. John chapter 18, 28 through 36. So Pontius Pilate was a procreator of Rome in the records. And it says Christ suffered an extreme penalty during the reign of Tiberius at the hands of one of our procreators, Pontius Pilate. So this is a record of Rome. Let's see if it matches up with the Bible. John 18, let's read 28. Let's read 28 to 38, brother.
Then they laid Jesus from Caiaphas unto the hall of judgment.
Oof.
And it was early, and they themselves went not unto the judgment hall, lest they should be defiled, but that they might eat the Passover. Pilate then went out unto them and said, What accusation bring ye against this man?
Is that Pilate?
That's Pilate.
Did we just read that he suffered the most extreme penalty during the reign of Tiberius at the hands of one of our procreators, Pontius Pilatus? Come on, brother.
They answered and said unto him, If he were not a malefactor,
they call him a troublemaker. If he was not a malefactor or a troublemaker, come on out,
we would not have delivered him up unto thee. Then said Pilate unto them, Take ye him and judge him according to your law. The Jews therefore said unto him, It is not lawful for us to put any man to death, that the saying of Jesus might be fulfilled which he spake, signifying what death he should die.
See, he spoke. He knew how he was going to die because it was already prophesied. All right, come on, bro.
Then Pilate entered into the judgment hall again and called Jesus and said unto him, Art thou the king of the Jews?
He asked him a question. You the king of the Jews?
Christ answered him, Sayest thou this thing of thyself, or did others tell it thee of me?
Hey, are you asking me because you want to know, or you asking me because others told you it about me? He talking to the judge that's about to deliver him to death like this. Come on, brother.
Pilate answered, Am I a Jew? Then thine own nation and the chief priests have delivered thee unto me?
See, because he was a Roman, one of our procreators. He was a Roman. He wasn't an Israelite. Come on, brother.
What hast thou done? Christ answered, My kingdom is not of this world. If my kingdom were of this world, then would my servants fight.
See that? We would have been banging. It would have been a civil war in the streets. If that was Christ's kingdom, we would have been killing all them sellout Uncle Tom bootlicking leaders. Come on, brother.
That I should not be delivered to the Jews.
What does that mean? See, he was a Jew. He just said, your own nation then brought you to me. What have you done? So he say, my servants would have been fighting if this was my kingdom. And I would have even been delivered. Showing you would have been a civil war. We'd have been putting them bootlicking Uncle Tom sellouts to death had that been Christ's kingdom. Come on, brother.
But now is my kingdom not from this.
Come on.
Pilate therefore said unto him, Art thou a king then? Christ answered, Thou sayest that I am a king. To this end was I born.
I was born for this. Come on.
And for this cause came I into the world, that I should bear witness unto the truth.
Come on.
Everyone that is of the truth heareth my voice.
Everybody that's of the truth heard my voice. He said, I was born for this. Come on, brother.
Pilate said unto him, What is truth? And when he had said this, he went out again unto the Jews, and said unto them, I find in him no fault at all. But ye have a custom, that I should release unto you one at the Passover. Will ye therefore that I release unto you the king of the Jews? Then cried they all again, saying, Not this man, but Barabbas.
Barabbas.
Barabbas. Now Barabbas was a robber.
That's it for that. Now check this out. So back to the record, the annals of Imperial Rome, it verifies that the Messiah was put to death under one of their procreators, Pontius Pilate. The Bible says the same thing. Now this is a source that is not biblical, but it's a historical record of the Roman Empire from 14 AD to 66 AD, and it vouches for the Bible, even though this man was against Christ and his people. I'm going to read it again. Consequently, to get rid of the report, Nero, Caesar, fastened the guilt and inflicted the most exquisite tortures on a class hated for their abominations. They were calling us an abomination. Grab Acts 16 for me, brother. Acts 16, 20 through 22. Hated for their abominations, called Christians by the populace. We read Acts 11 and 26. We were first called Christian by outsiders. Even this record of Rome is validating that. Check this out. Christus, from whom the name had its origin, suffered the extreme penalty during the reign of Tiberius at the hands of one of our procreators, Pontius Pilatus, and a most mischievous superstition thus checked for the moment. Again broke out not only in Judea, the first source of the evil, but even in Rome, where all things hideous and shameful for every part of the world find their center and become popular. So what superstition broke out after he died? That's the question. They were teaching that he resurrected out the grave, man. Feel me? If you die, ain't no superstition finna break out. You still in that grave. But after he died, the records are even saying that it was being taught that he resurrected. A strange superstition broke out. First in Judea, then in Rome. Why? It was Israelites living in Rome, man. Paul was one of them. He wasn't from Jerusalem. He told you he wasn't from Jerusalem. All right? Now check this out. It says, accordingly, arrest was first made of all who pleaded guilty. Then upon their information, an immense multitude was convicted. Not so much of the crime of firing the city. Remember, Nero burnt down Rome and blamed it on the Christ followers. That's historical. Now, if Christ wasn't invented to 325 AD and Nero Caesar lived during 60-something AD, somebody's lying about their doctrine they're pumping. That Egyptology is a doctrine of the devil, man. For real, because you don't. If Christ wasn't invented 325 AD, there should be no record on planet Earth talking about a Christ being put to death under Pontius Pilate or his people. How are you following somebody who ain't been invented yet? That don't even make sense. But he's in the records. And you can't go down to City Hall and get the record on the Tooth Fairy. Because the Tooth Fairy don't exist. Santa Claus. Check this out. Not so much of the crime as of fire in the city as of hatred against mankind. Mockery of every sort was added to their deaths. See that? Their deaths. Covered with the skins of beasts. They were torn by dogs. Even the civil rights movement, they was doing that to us. Now, watch the movie Django. Feel me? What Jamie Foxx say? That he's your nigga. And ate up the little runaway, didn't he? You see that? They were torn by dogs and perished or were nailed to crosses. The cross is a symbol of death, man. You see that Christ wasn't the only one, or the only Israelite that was nailed to the cross. All his followers was nailed to crosses. They were nailed to crosses or were doomed to the flames and burnt to serve as nightly illumination when daylight expired. Daylight had expired. We were street lights. They straight burned us and used us as street lights. You got that Acts 16, brother? So that's one record. Annals of Imperial Rome by Cornelius Tacitus, a Roman senator, and it details the Roman Empire from 14 AD to 66 AD. One record. We going to the next one next.
Now remember, they said that what we taught was an abomination.
Yeah.
Go Acts 16 and 19. And when her masters saw that the hope of their gains was gone, they caught Paul and Silas and drew them into the marketplace unto the rulers, and brought them to the magistrates, saying, these men being Jews.
Being who?
Being Jews.
Oh, so these are Christ followers. It's Paul and Silas. They Israelites. The Christians are Israelites. When you read Christian in the Bible, they're Israelites. Followers of the Messiah. All Israel didn't believe the same thing. Some was Pharisees, Sadducees, scribes, zealots. You see that? Come on, brother. These men being Jews. Come on.
Do exceedingly trouble our city, and teach customs which are not lawful for us to receive, neither to observe, being Romans.
Being who?
Being Romans.
So that's another chop for the Egyptology. You say the Bible is a Roman translation of African Gospels.
Nothing to do with it.
This says we can't even receive the gospel because it's not lawful for us to observe being Romans. Even the record says what we teach is an abomination. Wow. Wow. Come on, brother.
And the multitude rose up together against them, and the magistrates rent off their clothes and commanded to beat them. And when they had laid many stripes upon them, they cast them into prison.
See?
Charging the jailer to keep them safely.
See? So what you talking about? You see, these men being Jews teach things that are not lawful for us to receive or observe being Romans, and then beat them and lock them up. for the gospel's sake. See that? One more, Acts 17, over one chapter, Acts 17, 5 through 7. And then we got another record. Yeah, put the light on that one, Hebrew. Pliny the Younger, complete letters. And he lived from 60 AD to 112 AD. We still before the Council of Nicaea, buddy.
Still before the Council of Nicaea.
Yep. So if he was invented, in 325 AD, why are these Romans writing about him and his people and saying they're a problem? What they teach is a problem for us as Romans. So you fast forward 2,000 years, what has changed? See what I'm saying? Like how you look on BET on Sunday and Creflo Dollar and Kearney Thomas and TD Jakes, and it's all pro-America and not anti-America. What has changed? Huh? That's not the gospel of Christ that you've been taught in your church on Sunday. That's the Council of Nicaea doctrine. That's the pagan gospel that was invented in 325 AD.
You mean my bills ain't paid?
Your bills are paid. Your bills are paid.
Bye, Bill.
Come on, brother.
Acts 17 and 5. But the Jews which believed not, moved with envy, took unto them certain lewd fellows of the baser sort.
See, men of low thugs, basically. They got them jack boys together. And these were Israelites that didn't believe in the Messiah.
Some that
And
did.
they in the areas of Rome, man. See what I'm saying? Come on, brother.
And gathered a company, and set all the city on an uproar, and assaulted the house of Jason, and sought to bring them out to the people. And when they found them not, they drew Jason and certain brethren unto the rulers of the city, crying, These that have turned the world upside down are come hither also.
They say these men have turned the world upside down.
What?
Showing you the power of the gospel, man. These brothers wasn't in the spirit of compromising and it's all good. They done turned the world upside down with this, man. What you talking about? They done came here also. See that? So, again, this is not a pro-Roman Bible. What are you talking about? This is a Roman translation of African Gospels. What African good news? Who you talking about? Who?
And the Romans don't want none.
All right, this is next. Pliny the Younger. Gaius Pliny lived from 61 AD to 112 AD. He was actually born before the fall of Jerusalem. All right? Now, right here on page 278, this is him writing to Emperor Trajan. Trip off this. It is my regular custom, my lord, to refer to you all questions which cause me doubt. For who can better guide my hesitant steps or instruct my ignorance? I have never attended hearings concerning Christians. Concerning who? What are you doing going to hearings concerning Christ's followers?
Christ don't exist.
And Christ wasn't invented in 325 AD. His death date is still 200 years before the council. 213 years. Wow. Concerning Christians. So I am unaware what is usually punished or investigated. And to what extent. Trip off this. I'm going to jump down a little bit. It says an anonymous document was published containing the names of many. So, you know, a kill list was made. FEMA hit list.
FEMA hit list.
Like all us on there, I'm pretty sure. Those who denied that they were or had been Christians and called upon the gods after me, and with incense and wine made obeisance to your statue, which I had ordered to be brought in together with the images of the gods for this very purpose, and who moreover curse Christ. Curse who? Curse Christ. Right? Those who are truly Christian cannot. It is said, be forced to do any of these things are ordered to be acquitted. All these as well worshiped your statue and images of the gods. So there was a lot of brothers who claimed they was down with the Messiah, claiming they was down. But then when the chopping block came out, a lot of them knees was knocking. A lot of them was like, oh no, you know what I'm saying? We ain't down, and it made them deny the Messiah and do obeisance or worship or reverence to the gods of Rome and to the statue of Caesar. But see, if you really down, you can't do that, even if it costs you your life.
Only for the Lord.
All these well worship your statues and images of the gods and blasphemed Christ. Blasphemed him. They maintained, however, that all that their guilt or error involved was that they were accustomed to assemble. This is what the early Christians were doing. They were accustomed to assemble at dawn on a fixed day, Sabbath, to sing a hymn antiphonally to Christ as God, and to bind themselves by an oath, not for the commission of some crime, but to avoid acts of theft, thou shalt not steal, brigandage, and adultery, thou shalt not commit adultery, not to break their word, and not to withhold money deposited with them when asked for it. When these rites were completed, it was their custom to depart and then to assemble again to take food, which was, however, common and harmless. They had ceased, they said, to do this following my edict, by which, in accordance with your instructions, I had outlawed the existence of secret brotherhoods. So I thought it all the more necessary to ascertain the truth from two maidservants who were called deaconesses, even by employing torture. I found nothing other than a debased and boundless superstition. Now, how is that possible? How is that possible? You see that? He tortured them. He say, baseless superstition. What superstition? We were teaching that Christ resurrected, man. You feel me? We were breaking bread, eating food, all that. But we was against adultery and all that stuff, right? So it's telling you that, look, how is he torturing and having a list of people that's down with Christ if Christ wasn't invented in 325 AD and his death date is 112 AD. 213 years before the Council of Nicaea. And he's writing to Emperor Trajan Caesar about the torture of Christians and what he should do about this problem of these Christ followers. What should I do about them? That's what he was asking. So how could he be doing that if Christ never existed? And if he never existed, there should be no followers of his before the invention date of 325 AD. More ammo. That's some straight madness. Now let's grab Acts 18 next, brother. Acts 18. This right here is called the 12 Caesars.
Let me change back. Let me change back on this flag.
You turn it off?
I don't know. No, that's still recording.
Just close it. Close it. Close it.